Jyn Yates, I'm a huge fan. I love your work. You're just, refreshing. And I think you got skills, shorty. So keep it bouncing, yet again.
We get it.
I do my head talk, check my nails. Baby, how you feeling? Head talk, check my nails. Baby, how you feeling? Drop a trailer on them. Trying to cause a big sensation. I'm just talking about my...
We get it. H to the I to the L, L, B to the I to the L, L, Y. Singing.
They just say I'm not the baddest bitch you like. It ain't my fault that I'm out here getting loose. Gotta blame it on the goose. Gotta blame it on my juice, baby. Just talking about my generation.
Happy Wednesday to you. I am Jyn Yates. You're locked on to LRS102.com, The Walrus. We are broadcasting live from the Launch Louisville studios down on 816 East Broadway. I'm now joined by one of my great friends and the co-founder, basically the founder of She Castle, among many hats that you wear, Miss Elaine Hertweck. How are you doing this morning?
I am doing wonderful.
Or I should say afternoon. We've been through already a crazy morning, right?
Yep.
Yeah, let's talk about that. We were on Great Day Live promoting She Castle, and let's tell everybody what She Castle is. Let's open it up right away and let them know what is She Castle.
Well, basically, we started with just the idea of all women. There's been a lot of all women programs or gigs around town. Lady Sings the Blues and other things. Viva La Diva years ago that Murph did, and we talked about that, but there was never women-backed band. So.
Right. At some of these benefits, because my background had been coming from recently playing as the female drummer of Michigan Women's Music Festival, as well as Ohio Women's Music Festival, and a bunch of other stuff, where I met Beverly McClellan.
Right.
And I was saying to you, if you don't know who Beverly McClellan is, you should, because she was an amazing singer. She put out multiple CDs throughout her career. She went on The Voice as her band put her on there, and she thought it was a joke. She didn't want to get on the plane.
Yeah, she was awesome on that.
Yeah, she was great. Anyway,
she really was.
I got to record her, and we did a project called Hillbilly Swagger right here in the Highlands in Louisville, Kentucky. For the past 6 years, I recorded and still have a lot of her recordings. So she had passed away in October.
Right.
And I'd said to you, I really wanted to do something in her honor because they had been doing them in different cities.
Right.
And since she recorded here, I wanted to do something cool. And then those ideas kind of clashed. Right.
Yeah, and we actually were talking with Christy over at Air Devil's Inn, and we thought we'd do a little something, and it was going to be kind of small.
Yeah.
And it just really blossomed. So we do plan on doing this every year. We're going to start fundraising immediately to do this next year, and we'd like to go regional and go with bands this time, maybe do a couple different stages
and
or
add
something.
in people, because when I got to thinking about it, if we had a big enough stage, I could have cello players, a string section, horn section. Allison Cross, who's gonna do our sound and DJing in between sets, is an amazing trombone player. And I got to think about all these chicks that you forget about. I mean, there's so many.
Sax and I mean, gosh, there's just all the instruments out there.
Exactly.
And,
yes. Exactly.
It's so much fun putting it together anyway.
It's been so much fun, hasn't it? We've
Yeah.
had a blast. I mean, these rehearsals have been, everybody's got different personalities. It's an awesome group of women that we put together. Elaine basically came up with the idea to get the singers in, and then I had a few ideas, and we just kind of put that together. And then I was in charge of the house band.
Right.
So I was looking around at players that could play every style of music, because that was the goal, was to, the singers could pick anything they wanted, and they're from all different musical genres around town. That's the most genius idea of it. So with an all-female backing band that we named That's What She Said, Ba-dum-cha. Yes, exactly. So it's going to be fun. It's at Air Devil's Inn this Sunday, July 21st. And we just put out the music line up. Elaine did an awesome job on this.
Actually, I did not do
Amanda,
the poster.
Amanda
Grimsley
did the poster and the artwork.
She sure did. She's done all our artwork. She's done all our videos. She has done an awesome job. She doesn't get enough credit around town. She does stuff for Magic Jack.
She
She's
does
done
stuff for me and LRS.
For Spoilers 3 and Charlie
Absolutely.
Klutz. And,
Yeah.
she does a lot around town, and she doesn't get recognition, and she should.
Yeah, I agree. And I also want to give props to Steph Perry, who did all of our band photos.
Gosh, she's good.
Yeah, and the lineup goes like this, y'all. You ready for it? Drum roll. I need a drum roll.
I can't do it.
Elaine broke her arm not too long ago, so she's over there in a little cast. All right, the music lineup at 3 o'clock. Doors open at 2. We want all the guys there too.
Yep.
And we want all the ladies to join in, and it's just gonna be one big old throwdown hoedown, as Beverly McClellan would love. And we're gonna donate all the proceeds to charity. So it's for a good cause. $10 suggested at the door. So here's the lineup. At 3 o'clock, Georgia Phillips. 3:25, Carla Reisert. At 3:50, Marjorie Marshall. At 4:15, Tanita Gaines. At 4:40, Sherry Edwards. 5:05, Robbie Bartlett. 5:30, Latoya Montgomery. 5:55, Kimmy Cantwell. 6:15, Lenny Prince. 6:40, Tiffany Lynn Puckett, who's bringing some country for us. At 7 o'clock, we're going to have the Beverly McClellan tribute. I'll give a little eulogy, and we've got some of her music that we're going to be playing on break. And at 7:20, Griffey Town takes the stage. I love those girls. They're just
gosh.
awesome.
They
And drum roll for my faves. At 8 o'clock, the Troubadours of Divine Bliss, who are just magical human beings in this community and so philanthropic, and I just love them. They're
Aren't they
always
just coming
magic.
back from overseas?
They're maybe not overseas, but they've been out and about all around. I mean, they just tour. That's
Oh, I
all they
know.
do.
Yep.
And you can catch them all over the world. You just never know when they're going to pop up. They're like that, they remind me of, their name is so fitting, first off, Troubadours of Divine Bliss, but they're just magical creatures that just, they give so much love to this community. It's
They
amazing.
do.
And they
You
inspire
can just
me.
feel it coming from
I
them.
know the
They're
vibe
just- yeah.
around them is
Yeah.
just you just want to attach yourself to. And me and Nick Payne in the Kentucky Beatniks, my
Yeah.
duo partner, we're talking about this. We call ourselves Bliss Fits because Troubadours of Divine Bliss, we're the Bliss Fits. We like to follow them around, and they're an energy you want to be around. So they're going to take the stage at 8 o'clock. Till 8:30, and then 8:30 on, we're just gonna have a big old jam session. You never know what might happen, so you definitely want to come down to Air Devils Inn. That's at 2802 Taylorsville Road, Louisville, Kentucky 40205.
And there is additional parking because parking's an issue there.
Right.
So the gentleman from Bowman Field across the street said
Right,
we
the
could park
aviation
there
school.
in the parking lot there, and just be very safe crossing the street. Suggested to go at the crosswalk because it is
Right.
pretty dangerous there. A lot of
So
idiots.
use your noggin, go at the crosswalk, basically.
Yeah.
Be smart. But you can park over at Bowman Field and the aviation
and so there's a little
area
bit
too.
extra parking
They
over
are
there.
cool with the She Castle.
Yes, they are.
So anyway, it's been such a pleasure to do this event with you, and we're going to do it every year, and
Yeah.
hopefully expand it, make it bigger, and raise money for the community and homelessness. And Girls Rock Louisville, which is a great program that offers low-income children music lessons.
Yeah, they teach them music.
They let them write songs.
They teach them how to write. They teach them
How to dress like a
network,
man.
how
Yeah.
to present themselves,
How to be creative.
how to compete in a man's world
Right.
as a musician.
Exactly, because
which is tough.
most of the people volunteering there are female. Yeah.
Yeah. So
And then at the end of the week at their camps, they get to play their songs for everybody, which is super cool.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
I know y'all had a lot of fun doing that.
Oh, I bet. I didn't get to participate in this one, but I told them I would volunteer for the next season.
I thought you
yeah.
went. Well, you went in and taught one day,
I-
though, didn't you?
I went in and helped set some chairs up for their event. I did some
okay.
volunteer work with them, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but anyway, the kids are awesome there.
Yeah.
So it's for a good cause.
Yep.
And what better way to see all these 14 vocal queens? I counted them. There's a total of 14.
Right.
Yeah, if you count them all. 14 vocal queens live at the She Castle. You can't not have fun there.
No.
And
you
the band is on stage the whole time. So
Yep.
shout out to the band, Donna Bivens on lead guitar, Jessica Bullock on piano, and they're both on backing harmonies too, and Selena Felicia on bass. I'll be on drums. Liz Allman is going to be doing percussion. Allison Cross DJ, and Lisa Mitchell is our MC.
Right.
Steph Perry's our photog, and then we have a ton of people volunteering,
All
their
women.
services. All women.
Everything
all
is women.
That's right. We're proving we can get along, actually.
Yeah. How about
And
that?
we could probably rule the world if we stuck together. You know what I'm saying?
That won't happen.
Well, I know it won't happen, but a girl
But
can dream, can't
we
she?
have shown it can be done.
Exactly,
So, yeah.
exactly.
There's
Yeah.
hope, right?
There is hope. So we have a fun, exciting show today, Elaine. We have not only you with me all day in the studio, but we also have Georgia Phillips coming in. She's one of our vocalist queens.
She is, and I'm real excited for her. She is the daughter of Phil Phillips, who was the lead singer of the Tarnations and passed away 2 years ago this past November. He was just the most kindest-hearted soul you would have ever met in your life.
Right.
And
I'm sad I never got to
So,
meet him. I
yeah,
don't think,
he
or if I
was,
did, it was just a quick passing,
yeah.
Oh, and I also want to give a shout out to Dave Hassenfeld, who
Oh,
passed
yeah.
away.
He passed
He
last
was an
night.
awesome bass player around town, and I got the news that he had passed.
Yeah,
So
he played with
Say a
several
special prayer for
people,
Dave.
but he did play with Jada Blue, and they just put out a CD.
Mm-hmm. I was just over there jamming with him not too long ago, man.
Yeah,
He was
And
an inspiration, Yeah, totally.
so this is what they just put out is actually his last piece of work.
Yeah,
So everybody should run out and buy it.
exactly. Look it up online, Jada Bloom and
Yeah.
Dave Hassenfeld on bass. All right, so also about Georgia Phillips, she's going to be joining us at 3, and her
Okay.
story is really magic, as you were saying.
It is.
Yeah, I never got to meet her dad, but I have heard magic things about him, and I hear supposedly she's bringing in a special microphone.
She is a golden
Yeah.
microphone. That
Tell
was
me about
Phil's.
the golden microphone.
Well, Phil used it when he sang,
Mm-hmm.
and after he passed, of course, it was it's a dear treasure of anybody who loved Phil.
Right.
It's just as a symbol of Phil. So.
Cool. And she's going to sing through it as she
Yep,
castle?
she's gonna bring it.
Super
I told
rad.
her I need it today so I can make
Yeah.
sure everything's set up. And,
Very cool.
Yeah, so she's gonna kick it off, and
Right.
and she is not a normal quote unquote performer. This is
Right.
this is really her debut into
Right.
this kind of world.
She had told me before in band rehearsals that she had told me her story and then said, man, I really needed this. This was like very uplifting for me. I haven't
Yep.
really sang a lot since my dad passed away. We used to sing together. The songs that she's singing are ones that they used to sing together.
Right.
He's recently passed, so it's going to be a special night. We kick it off with that, and I mean all the way through, all the way to the Beverly McClellan tribute, to all the way at the end of the Troubadours of Divine Bliss and the grand finale jam, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's going to be a fun event. And then also at 3 o'clock, we're going to have Chef Ranada Riley calling in from Lexington
Cool.
to talk a segment on her little story, because she has been all over like Food Network and Top Chef and guys grocery games and all kinds of cool stuff. She's from Lexington. She came back there and started her own restaurant, which is amazing. It's right downtown across from Rupp Arena. Yes, and
Okay.
she hires live musicians
Yeah.
to sit up in her restaurant and play. So, and she's a musician herself. So what could be any cooler than having all three of
Right.
you all in on the show today?
Right.
All right, so we're going to get kicked off. We want you to stick around. We've got all kinds of cool things going down here at LRS102.com. The Walrus. We're going to kick it off with some Bob Seger, because I know you love some Bob Seger. So this one's for you. It's rock and roll, never forgets, on the Walrus. Louisville's rock scream. My baby, my baby, my baby. Some kind of wonderful. It's Grand Funk Railroad here on LRS102.com. You're locked on to Jyneration Nation. I am Jyn Yates, the Generator. What do you think about that nickname, Elaine?
I think it's a mouthful.
It is a mouthful. That's what she said.
I was going to say, but that's what she said.
Exactly. Beverly McClellan gave me that nickname. She's like, you just generate energy all the time.
You do. You're just
Well, I try.
out there.
I'm trying to be groovy these days. You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
trying to be good. With the help of you, by the way,
Well.
which I really appreciate. So I want to kind of talk about everything you have done for local musicians, because as long as I've known you, and I was trying to remember when we actually physically met for the first time. Do you remember?
I really don't.
I know. I don't either.
It just seems like I've known you forever.
I think I know where we met, but I'm not for sure that I remember the details of it. But it seems like I was playing or something like that, and then you became basically what I call my den mother, because I don't have family in Louisville. So, you know, as a musician, you adopt your bandmates, you adopt these people who love musicians, you
Right.
adopt your local community members and such like that along the way. And, you know, and I've stayed around for 21 years with no family here. So you basically have been my family, and you're my den mama. That's what I call you. And I love to call you that. But yeah, you've always helped musicians. When I first met you, you were on the Murph board for
Right.
years. You also sat on the Kentuckiana Blues Society board for a long time, correct?
Yes, I did.
All right, and also your father was a musician.
Yep. Well, I'm actually 7th generation musician.
Yeah,
And
7th generation.
yeah.
Yeah, so tell me about that, because you obviously were around musicians your entire life.
I was, and I really took it for granted, you know, because
Yeah.
everybody around me played music, and I didn't want to. And Dad played jazz. My grandfather taught in the school system, and going all back, they played in the Louisville Orchestra. I mean, everybody played.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's like, okay, here.
And he played jazz sax. That blows my mind.
Oh, yeah. Sax, flute, clarinet. Anything.
Yeah.
And they could play anything they picked up.
Right.
You know, it was just, and I didn't want to.
Yeah.
You know, it was like, here.
Why do you think that was? Just because you were young and
Because I've always been a rebel.
you were the outlaw?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to sing.
Yeah.
You know, I love to sing. And
And you do sing a little bit, because at band practices, you've been there almost, I mean, basically every time, just singing away with everybody. Yeah.
I did a little bit for a while, but
Yeah.
yeah, I just don't.
Yeah. But anyway, you've gone on, though, to really help, you know, contribute a lot to women, or, you know, not just women musicians, what you're doing on this, but also, you know, musicians across the board for many, many, many years. Why do you have that drive behind you to be like, you know, I want to keep help giving? Because you just keep getting, you know, you do these great benefits. It's
Well-
almost always a benefit that you do to
Yeah.
raise money or to help a musician that's been sick.
Yeah,
You know?
I got involved with Murph many years ago. I sat on the board for about 10 years, and I went to one meeting at Mark Barnes' request.
Yeah,
And
we love Mark Barnes.
I do. We love Mark Barnes.
Hi, Mark.
I've known him like 30 years.
Right.
And he was like, oh, you need to do this, because I worked with him with Magic Jack for a long time. My best friend was in that band.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And, you know,
Yeah.
just went everywhere. And so
I love that.
I went to one meeting, and at the end of the meeting, I was the secretary, and like the
And by the end of the meeting.
the next year, I was the treasurer, and
Right.
and then I became the president. And
Yeah.
I love music. I love how it makes me feel, and
Right.
you know, it just takes your
It takes your worries
Yeah,
away. If you
yeah.
could if we could all just sit around, Sean Wallace said this the other day, if we could all just sit around and listen to some music and eat some barbecue,
Yeah.
you know, or if you're vegetarian or
Exactly.
vegan, eat some plants, you know, we'd all be groovy, man.
Right.
It would be
well,
cool.
I grew up on jazz,
Yeah.
obviously with my dad, and I love jazz.
Yeah.
And of course, rock and roll got in there.
Of course.
But when I got on the board of Murph, I kind of was exposed more to blues, and I really fell in love there.
Yeah.
you know, it was just it.
What's the famous quote about Willie Nelson says about the blues? It's the only style of music written from heartache that can just make you dance and happy nonstop.
Yeah.
It does.
Well,
It's
it
interesting
does.
how it does that, you know.
And we have some very, very talented blues players in this town.
Yeah, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
yes. Louisville is pumped full of musical talent. I mean, nonstop.
It's really a shame that so many venues have closed, and there's just really nowhere to play. And
Right.
And honestly, the places you do play, they don't pay.
Yeah.
And
It's just kind of gone downhill because nowadays the
Yeah.
musician is fighting with the, you know, the DJs and the karaoke's, and they don't have to pay as much for that. Although they do pay pretty, you know, some of these DJs get paid bank.
yes, they do. Yes, they
Yeah.
do. And there's only one of them.
Yeah.
You know, and when you have a band, you have several players, you split, and you know, you
Right.
have cost involved.
And you've
that
got
kind of thing.
live sound set up and everything else that goes along with it,
And I'll
all
tell you
in the
something
equipment.
else. A musician has to practice.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of natural, raw talent out there, but, you know, if they don't practice, they don't perfect themselves.
Right.
And they don't grow. And
I
DJs don't
agree.
have to do that.
Right.
You know, they don't have to put in any additional time of their life.
Some of them do, though. I mean, some of those cats these days are crazy. You know, I was thinking, as a drummer, you almost have to be a DJ nowadays to get on a pro tour. If you watch the pro drummers in these huge arena settings, they will have their drum set up, and then they'll have electronics, and then they'll have a laptop with like turntables and all kinds of stuff going on over here. Literally, they've just combined, like the drummer just became the, you know, the brain of the computer, basically. It's kind of interesting how it works.
Well, see, and I'm kind of, I guess I'm old school because, I mean, DJs are okay.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. There's plenty.
Right.
I love them.
All the dubstep, the wah 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 wah, and the
I
you
like
know, all
live
that stuff.
music.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
hear you.
I like people who make music.
Yeah.
You know, who bring their talents together, and just like with That's What She Said.
Yeah.
You know, you girls never worked before together.
Never.
And so,
well, me and Selena had played headliners for the Queens of Drag, a benefit
one time.
and
Yeah.
Kimmett was on that, but Kimmett wasn't on stage. She was out in the green room in the back side of headliners singing, and there was a drag performer doing like lip syncing her vocals while she was doing them live, and she was live streaming it. It was just a hot mess. And then me and Selena had to wear mustaches, which was hilarious too.
That's funny.
Yeah, very funny. But go ahead about that. So what she said, we had never played together, pretty much. Other than that,
And so it was a matter of, you had to make sure your chemistry was good too. You know.
well, yeah,
So,
of course.
And you all just melded so well together, and it just, you know, and that's how it is a lot of times with musicians. They may not play together, but
It's all about the chemistry in my mind. It really is. You've got to have that groovy chemistry, because if not, you're going to end up killing each other along the way. And I've lost enough bands to know that by now. You know, and I'm just at a point in my life where, man, I grabbed these cats up, and they were fun and awesome, and they're the coolest people ever. You know,
And
it didn't
y'all
mean to happen this way, but it just kind of like
it
magically
did.
happened.
And y'all really have come together. And you know, Donna Bivens, she is just. Every one of you have done your homework, but she has just gone above and beyond.
Yeah, she does. And that's what I love about her. She's very detail-oriented, and I am too. I'm very detail-oriented about things. And I feel like you have to be, you know, and you have to be a hustler in this game, in this musical game,
and
you know.
it's fun to have watched Georgia grow a little bit.
I agree.
You know.
I totally agree with that. And we're going to be talking to her later on today, which we're super excited to kind of hear her story and everything else. Is there anything else that you want to talk about concerning your dad playing music? I mean, I love that story. So cool.
No, I just, like I said, I took it all for granted.
Yeah.
You know, all the greats that he played with, Jimmy Rainey and Herbie Hale and, you know, Dickie Durloff and
I mean,
Jack
the Louisville
Pringle
Orchestra, if
and-
you're in the orchestra, you've got to be really good. I mean, it's
my
just...
grandfather
you're
was.
a pro. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Grandfather, yeah. That's what I mean. And we had a CD in here that actually got from you. She had an LRS102 vinyl record with your dad playing on it.
Right.
And we
With
spun
Jennifer
that...
Loletta.
With Jennifer Loletta, right. And she was in here for an interview, and I played it on vinyl on wax.
And it sounded really good.
Oh, vinyl's still the best. And we can spin some today if you want. We've got all kinds of cool vinyl that we can spin. We're going to take a short break. I'm Jyn Yates. You're locked on to Jyneration Nation, LRS102.com, The Walrus. I want to remind you, She Castle is coming up July 21st. That's going to be at Air Devils Inn. We're going to open the doors at 2 o'clock. Music starts at 3. The list is insanity, and I'm the luckiest girl in the world because I got to play with every single one of these women, plus the house band. You want to come to that.
Derby City Diva.
Derby City Diva,
LRS102's
exactly. One of my fellow
own.
sister
Yeah.
DJers here on LRS is going to be there as our MC.
Yeah.
You just can't go wrong with that. You know what I mean?
I know. It's going to be great.
I like Steve Miller, so
I do too.
And it's been magical. We're in a lunar eclipse, a full moon, and it's Mercury retrograde with like 6 planets in retrograde, so it's just a magical time period. I'm gonna leave you with some abracadabra. Oh, you gotta love it when it skips. That is Fleetwood Mac with Say That You Love Me. You're locked on to Jyneration Nation, LRS102.com, The Walrus. We are broadcasting live here with Elaine Hertweck, one of my bestie friends, and we just had an awesome lunch. I'm stuffed. Stuffed to the brim. We've had a long day already. We were up at Great Day Live at 8 o'clock, and I got up at 6:30 to have my hair and makeup did.
Well, and I didn't have any electricity last night from about
Right,
5
you told me
o'clock
that.
till
Right.
6 o'clock this morning, so that was fun.
Well, you're kind of like me. We kind of believe in the moon, lunar phases of the world, and
Everything's all
and the
messed up.
spiritual stuff. And right now we are in a lunar eclipse. It was yesterday, actually. Which, if you know anything about eclipses, they take long time periods to go into and long time periods to go out of, and they're major shift changes. So big things happen, bigger than full moons. But we're also on a full moon, and then we're also in retrograde. So in retrograde, lots of things you have to redo stuff.
Oh, yes.
Constantly in a cycle until you break the cycle and can move on to the higher level. That's how it works. That's how life's work.
And it's
Life
and
works.
it's not like you haven't learned your lesson.
Right, exactly. Yeah. If you learn the lesson, and I think you grow from it, and then you move on. You get to advance, as I call it, into something way cooler, and it'll slingshot you into something crazy cool, and that everything that you got rid of in the past comes back to you in a better form.
Well,
Isn't that
that's
how
'cause
it works?
Doors
It's crazy.
open up.
Doors open up, right.
When you finally learn your lesson,
Right.
you move on, and bigger and better things do come along.
Exactly. And it's got to start clean to be clean.
Yeah.
And that's the key. Yeah. So anyway, we've got all kinds of crazy going on later on this week too. Lenny Prince is going to do a big call in later on. I'm trying to think who I have on the show tomorrow.
She sounded great.
Marjorie Marshall.
The other day.
Yes, Lenny. Yeah, Lenny and us got to do with That's What She Said, a live little jam on a twist that she does on a Johnny Cash song, Folsom Prison Blues.
Which she'll be doing on Sunday.
Right, exactly. She'll do it on Sunday too, but on Sunday it's not the stripped down acoustic version.
Right.
Because we did it live in the studios at 91.9, and I had a washboard and a spoon. Selena was playing a table, Jess was playing a tambourine, and then Donna had an acoustic guitar,
It
and
sounded good.
Lenny had an acoustic bass. So Laura Shine was having fun with that.
Yeah.
And I think I blew Laura's mind because I was telling her, I was like, hey, Laura Shine had one of the first all-female bands in town.
I heard that.
It was called Your Girlfriend,
Yeah.
and I
Long
got
time ago.
educated on them a long time ago, and every now and then they do reunions, but I follow their female drummer, Phyllis Free, online.
Well, maybe next year we can entice them to go do the She Castle thing. With
Yeah, I agree.
That'd be cool.
I agree. And you're going to love this too. We're going to be featuring all next week female drummers that are out on tour that are in this upcoming documentary.
I can't wait to see that.
Yes, it's a women drummers documentary, and the filmmaker hit me up, and they followed me and a ton of other drummers. And there's a lot of famous guy drummers in this too. They went to the NAMM show. They got Todd Sugarman from Styx.
Mm-hmm.
They got the drummer of Chicago on there. They've got I forget who all the drummers are, but they basically interview them all, and they've pieced together a 2-hour feature film on female drummers that's going to hit theaters in September. They're going to do a big secret release party. I just got this down low info in Nashville right around my birthday.
Yeah.
And it's a special sneak peek. They're rolling out the red carpet. They're going to do a screening. People can come. Afterwards, everybody's going to go jam. So it's going to be
Nice.
real cool. And that's coming in September. So stay tuned, because that is like one of the
That'd be
coolest
fun.
career things ever. And all the drummers in the documentary get to come down to Nashville and like hang out and meet each other for the first time, But she said, you're going to love your section. She goes, we gave you a really nice little feature.
Oh, really?
So I'm real curious to see it. I can't see it until it comes out.
Nice.
Yeah. So lots of exciting things going
Oh,
on.
yeah.
And I think That's What She Said is also already got another gig booked, to back.
I think a couple.
Yeah, maybe
I
a
think-
couple.
I
Yeah,
think
we're
we may
getting
have a
offers.
couple.
It's
Yeah.
pretty crazy. All the players are just magical. And I just love that you brought in Georgia Phillips. What a great, cool thing to do for her.
Yeah. She's, sometimes you want to push somebody along to
Yeah.
make them realize what
Exactly,
they
give 'em
really
some
have
wings.
potential to
Right.
do. Yeah.
That's what I love to do with the teaching thing with the kids,
I know.
You
Huh.
give them the tools of music and just watch them grow. And then sometimes you sit back, and I tell Skinny J this all the time. We have a band that I used to teach the kid that's, up in our playlist.
Uh-huh.
And they've been touring out all over the country. Now, this kid was really good by the time he got to me, but I just taught him for a small, brief time period, about a year or so. And then, here we are 15 years later, and look at this kid. He's selling out headliners when he comes back
Wow.
home. Yeah, and it's him and his brother in a band called White Reaper. They're a rock and roll band here.
Huh.
Isn't that wild?
That is. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
So I'm looking up in the LRS playlist of songs to play, and there's like one of my students. How cool could that be? You know?
Yeah, it shows your age too.
I know. I feel old these days sometimes.
I know.
Especially when it comes to dating. The dating scenes are just. If anybody that's older has to go back into that, good luck.
You know what? That is not something that I ever wanted
Is even
to do.
appealing, right? I hear you.
No.
I hear you on that. It's kind of funny how it works. I'm just like, whatever happens, happens. That's my goal. You know, I'm
That's
just
the way
like,
it is.
higher power, lead the way. Show me what I'm supposed to do. You know what I mean? And
Absolutely.
present it to me. And then once I see it, I'm like, okay, that's what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, hence She Castle. Hence, that's what she said.
Yeah.
You know, hence everything going on. So women drummers stuff, all that cool stuff.
Your doors have
LRS
just
here, this
opened
show
up.
on Generation Nation. We've had some of the coolest call-ins. You know what I mean? We have had
You've
some
had
of the
some great
coolest
interviews.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Jeff
I've got
McAllister and
Jeff McAllister, man.
He was
yeah.
fun. He was a lot of fun to
And Jeff
listen to.
Charbo. I mean,
Yeah.
the Monarchs drummer and the Wolf Brothers drummer.
Yeah.
It can't get any better. And then you add Marvin Maxwell on top
Oh,
of it.
yeah.
I'm trying to get his kids in here.
Oh, well, I love Marvin anyway because,
Yeah.
you know, he founded Murph and started Musicians Emergency Relief Fund.
Fund.
And that's what Marvin started.
Right.
And then when it went to a 501c3, it became Musicians Emergency Resource Foundation.
Resource Foundation.
Right. Because we had to revamp things to make it a 501c3, or they did, actually. I don't do
Right.
it. But, yeah, so it was still the Murph.
Mm-hmm.
And of course,
Perfect.
that's always going to be my
But
real
basically,
love.
tell our listeners, just in case they don't know, what is Murph? Murph basically
Well,
does
Murph
what?
it's a benevolent organization, public charity that you can donate to while you're alive, or even leave your estate to. And,
Da-dum-tsh.
yeah,
Yeah.
and so it assists musicians in the local region in times of need, and it came from when Marvin was in a very bad car accident, and everybody came together and did a benefit for him, and there was so much money, and he had very good insurance,
Yeah.
and so he had a good friend who had just found out he had cancer, and so he turned that money over to him. And so Marvin and Wayne Young got together and said, you know, let's do this for real. And so they did. And that was in 1980.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's a long damn time ago.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
And
not going to
it's-
tell you how old I was in
Yeah.
1980.
Well, I won't tell you how old I was in
Right, I hear you. Yeah, no kidding.
But yeah, it's a
But
it's
yeah,
a
that's a
great
long time
organization,
to keep
and,
going.
You know, it's they don't hand out money; they pay for rent or a mortgage,
Right, or stolen
utility
equipment.
bills,
Right.
stolen equipment, having equipment repaired, you know, a telephone so they can get their gigs.
Exactly. And they've helped a ton of musicians.
Yes,
It's no
they have.
telling if you saw how many people, which you saw them come through. So you know.
And unfortunately, you know, then we got into where there were a lot of musicians that started passing away, getting cancer, and you know, Lamont Gillespie and
We've all.
Byron Davis and
Yeah. Referring this conversation back to She Castle is that throughout the rehearsal process with the band and all the different singers, a lot of the singers came up to me, like a Kemet, or, you know, there's other, you know, Sherry Edwards is another one. And they talked about, you know, they have also lost someone very precious to them that sang music.
Oh, yeah.
Or played music.
Yeah, they're music partners.
Yeah, they're music partners. And there is just something so special about
That-
being
that's-
musical partners. You know, it's a
That's-
relationship
yeah.
without sleeping together, basically.
Exactly.
And it's a very intimate,
It is a
raw
very- yeah.
experience. And it can be very traumatic if it goes astray. You know what I mean?
I
Because
do.
we're artists. We're very, you know, wear our heart on our sleeves a lot of times because
Very
we have to be,
emotional.
because we're artists. Yeah. So on top of that, it was really special to me to be like still healing from Bev's death. And Kim, it was still healing from Doug's death, and you know, and so forth, and to hear these women's stories about things that they've experienced that have been similar to them. So,
Right.
you know, because I did one day throw the Bev tribute in there because of her contribution to women's music. So she loved to play for a charity,
You know,
know,
I'll never forget the first time I met her,
which it was.
which was when she ditched her plane ride in Cincinnati and came back to Louisville because her grandmother used to live here.
Right.
And said, well, I've never been there, but so I'm going to go. And then she wound up staying like a month or 2 months or something.
Right.
And
right, that story.
Sitting in your kitchen.
Well, my favorite, I was going to just say my favorite memory of you and her together with me, it was just the three of us, which was really rare because for me to get Bev by herself was very hard to do. And for there to not be any partners or groupies or friends or whoever around at the time, you know what I mean, was very rare. So she and you sit in my kitchen when I lived in my house on Schiller.
Yeah.
And she was always improvising, and she picked up an acoustic guitar, and I was like, I really want you to sing something for Elaine because I knew that you would respect her vocals and she could blow you away out the house.
She did.
And she played Old Man, Take a Look at My Life by Neil Young for you.
And I thought, I mean, every emotion just came to light. I mean, she was just so powerful, you know. And then she came down to Stevie Ray's bar one night and was going to sing a song. And, of course, nobody knew who she was. And John Bogard asked her, said, well, what key do you want to sing in? And she said, well, what key do you want to play in?
Yeah, that was one of my favorites too. I had begged her to come out because she is a true cancer. She was a true cancer. She loved to just stay inside. She kind of was reclusive, you know what I mean? And she was so used to people being around her all the time when she was on the outside world that on the inside world, like she really wanted to stay private a lot and just write, you know, and just bounce ideas and be super creative. And there'll never be another Bev, you know what I mean? She made me laugh. I know she's still messing with me. So how about we play some Hillbilly Swagger in honor of her? Yeah, I thought maybe that would be a really cool idea.
Sure.
She would probably love that. And we're going to obviously pay a tribute to her soon, but it's Clean Socks. You're locked on to Generation Nation, LRS102.com, The Walrus. Here's some Hillbilly Swagger.
Yeah, keep your chin up and a smile on your face. Pain and love both come from the same place. It's hard to trust love to be my rock. Yeah, and all I can say is, don't talk it, don't say it, don't say it, don't talk it. I'm wearing clean socks, don't say it, don't say it, don't talk it. I'm wearing clean socks. Ooh, she's so mean, she's so mean, she's so mean. Ooh, she's so mean, she's so mean, she's so mean. Take me to the river where you thought I would drown. I washed away the wicked so that I could be found. It's hard to trust love to be my rock, yeah. And all I can say is I am wearing clean socks. Don't say it, don't say it, don't talk it. I'm wearing clean socks. Don't say it, don't say it, don't talk it. I'm wearing clean socks. Don't say it, don't say it, don't talk it. I'm wearing clean socks. Don't say it, don't say it, don't talk it. I'm wearing clean socks. Ooh, she's so mean, she's so mean, she's so mean. Ooh, she's so mean, she's so mean. I'm wearing clean socks.
I don't need you, that's what you would say. But we all know you were pulling our chain. It's a trail of lies that you seem to lead. Just give it time, everybody will see. Through the magic ball that's made of glass. Love it, don't leave it, throw it away in the trash. Blah, 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 you're nothing but talk. Blah, 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 yeah, walk the walk.
Don't say it, don't say it, don't talk it. I'm wearing clean socks.
Blah, blah, blah.
She's so mean, she's so mean, she's so mean.
Blah, blah, blah.
She's so mean, she's so mean. I'm wearing clean socks.
Blah, blah, blah.
She's so mean, don't say it, she's so mean, don't say it.
Blah, blah, blah.
She's so mean, don't talk it. I'm wearing clean socks.
Blah, blah, blah.
Don't say it, she's so mean, don't say it. She's so mean, don't talk it. I'm wearing clean socks.
It's the Spencer Davis Group with Give Me Some Lovin'. I love that track. And we are now joined by, hopefully, Miss Ranada Riley. Are you there? Can you hear me? I got you locked in now. We have a little short in our board. In fact, yesterday it fried. It was crazy. There's all kinds of weird electronic things going on down here at the station. Of course, we're broadcasting live out of this old theater building, and I swear it's haunted upstairs. It's real kind of spooky.
Man.
Yeah. So, Miss Ranada Riley, you are based in Lexington, Kentucky. I want you to tell me a little bit about yourself. I've been honored to play your venue a couple times, and I love that you hire live musicians in to play your spot, and you're a musician yourself as well as a renowned chef. So I want you to talk to me a little bit about your restaurant and, what led up to you opening your restaurant.
All right. Well, I have Renata's Bistro and Bar there in Lexington, Kentucky, right downtown. We focus on local food, local music, local art, local folks, local fun. We have a lot of fun there. It's a great little place, and it's just continued to grow into something that's just amazing with so many great people involved, you know. And as a chef, I work so many hours that I kind of have to bring the party to me. Yeah. And my first love was music, and sitting around the table and eating with my family, and I was able to just do that with this bistro, and it's been amazing, man. It's been amazing.
Well, I know I have eaten almost everything on your menu, by the way. I don't know if you knew that or not, but I have, and I love. Well, of course, you change it up. Let's be real, you change it up quite often. But I've been down there several times, and I've had every meal has been immaculate, and it's just always awesome. And you also hooked me up with the taking the bourbon barrels photos, which was really cool. So if people want to come eat at your bistro, can they find you online? You're downtown Lexington, like near Rupp, right? Off of Old Vine?
Yeah, we're at 400 Old Vine Street. You can find us at www.renadas.com. That's RANADAS.com. And we do catering. You can see our events that we've got planned. We do live music Wednesday nights and Sunday. I do a brunch, usually, jazz, rock, or southern fried brunch.
I love that southern fried brunch.
We do all kinds of fun stuff. So if you get on the website or find us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram at renadas.com, you can, or Renata's Bistro and Bar, you can see everything that we've got going on.
Yeah, I was going to say, in fact, I want to tell our listeners the last time I was there, some guy walked in who built electric guitars out of bourbon barrels, and you flipped it over. He was presenting it to you, and you flipped it over, and you opened up the back, and it held a flask in it, and you could actually pour it in the guitar.
Yeah, we had a good...
Yeah, that guitar was awesome. Do you still have that, or where is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's super rad.
It's part of the artwork I have hanging on the walls. We have 2 of those bourbon barrel guitars there.
Yeah.
Mike Mankel is the artist, and he's created quite a plethora of those. They're just amazing, and they play well.
Yeah.
And you can also make them a part of the still process for making bourbon.
Yeah, exactly. And also, weren't you on aren't you on TV now? I don't even own a television myself, so I don't even pay attention. But I did read somewhere in your bio that you'd done your stint through television for a while there, right?
Yeah, actually, I've been on a couple Food Network shows, Guys Grocery Games and Cutthroat Kitchen.
That's so cool.
Took a couple 2-year hiatus from just really being out there publicly, but I'm coming back with a vengeance, man.
Dude, me
rock
too.
and roll never dies.
Exactly. You're a rocker. That's why I love you. I can tell you're a rocker because I love to rock out too. Anybody who will hire me on drums to set up in their restaurant has to be pretty much rocker. You know what I mean? I stripped it down for you with the wire brushes and such, but I am definitely a rocker at heart, and you are too. And that's what this show is all about. I don't know if you know anything about LRS102, the station you're on, the Walrus. Have you ever heard of us?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was going to say we were the premier station in Louisville, Kentucky. We've been broadcasting live since 1964. So when rock and roll came out, basically 64 is when the Beatles came to America. And then, LRS was breaking all of the vinyl records back then, all of the great bands, Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the and Zeppelin, and all the bands throughout the years. They were the prime rock station. It's very historic. And now we're going all new school, and we're broadcasting live over the internet, which is rad.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
so
cool.
I'm just honored to have you on Jyneration Nation on the Walrus at LRS102.com. Yeah, so
The honor is mine, believe me.
Yes.
And you're just killer. I just love everything you're about. And
man, thank you.
I love following you and your journeys and stuff. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
I live vicariously through you, man.
Yeah, thanks, man. And I live vicariously through your food post. Every time I see them coming across, I drool because I'm always starving when I see those. And I'm like, oh, there's a beautiful something at Renada's tonight. Wish I was in Lexington. But every time I come through there, I always stop in and say hi.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love everything you've got going on there, and the restaurant is just fantastic. So is the hospitality down there in Lexington. You're always so kind and whatnot. So you keep doing what you're doing and keep rocking it out, coming back with a vengeance, Mr. Ranada Riley.
Man, Jyn, I love you, man.
I love you too. Hey, I got
Check
one more.
out all the new art I've got out, and I've got a new menu coming out. I just had a new artist hang a bunch of stuff on the walls, and it's phenomenal. I mean, we've got everything from Billie Holiday to Louis Armstrong
Wow.
to Tupac.
Tupac?
And Anthony Bourdain, and all this artwork that's just amazing. You got to come and check it out.
I definitely will check that out. And I just got a quick question for you. So, who's your favorite Beatle? I always love to ask that question.
My favorite Beatle?
Yeah, like the Beatles.
I love Ringo Starr. Are you kidding
Ringo
me?
Starr is your favorite. I love that.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
And what's your favorite thing to cook?
Oh, man. I'm Southern fried, but so probably like chicken and waffles or shrimp and grits.
Shrimp and grits, chicken and waffles. Yeah, Southern fried food, all the stuff that I love to eat, because you know me, I love to eat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And when in doubt, fry it or smother it in cheese.
Exactly. When in doubt, smother it in fried and cheese. I love that. That's a great saying. You know, I had a gay guy tell me like a couple weeks ago, he said, you just can't go wrong with black, white, and diamonds. That's what he said. That was his quote. And I was like, I'm going to use your new quote for your food stuff because that was awesome. Smother it and fried up in cheese, man. You can't go wrong. Anyway, well, Renata, you take care. We're going to tell everybody to head down. If you're in Lexington, Kentucky, head down to Renata's Bistro and Bar. It's right down there on Old Vine, and you get your bellies full. It is amazing. You'll see the cool artwork. You'll probably hear some cool music. You might see a drag show every now and a blue moon.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You can never tell what you're going to get there.
You're right. You never can tell what you're going to get down there in Lexington, and I love that. Y'all keep it fresh every time.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Thanks a lot, man.
Thanks a lot. You take care and keep rocking because I know you play a mean guitar.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
rock and roll, Renata. Thank you for calling in today.
Right.
And that was Renata
Right.
Riley, master chef and owner of Renata's Bistro and Bar, calling in from Lexington, Kentucky, checking in. She's an awesome person, a great fan, and even more amazing as a cook, or a chef, I guess I should say. I don't know what the professional thing is. So now we are joined by the way, Miss Georgia Phillips, who's one of our She Castle queens. And she brought in, and y'all are going to have to share this mic and talk right into it so we can hear you at home, okay? And I want to talk about, you just brought in, I'm talking to Renata, and in walks Georgia Phillips with a solid gold microphone.
Yes.
Yeah, tell me about this microphone. What is this?
It's my daddy's. He took a lot of pride in his microphone. It took him not too long, but he saved up a lot of money to get it, and he was very happy about it. I know it was worth a lot of money. I know he paid a lot for it. He was very proud of his microphone. He used it for every performance. I don't know if anyone knows of the Jyneration, but my daddy is the lead singer in the group, and he recently passed away 3 years ago.
I'm sorry to hear that.
That's okay.
But I do love that you're here because I love your story, and I am excited to get to play with you because I'm in the all-female backing band behind you, and we kick it off with the gold microphone. Yes. And we're going to honor your dad. We're honoring my Beverly McClellan, who I lost, and we're honoring a bunch of other musicians that all the girls have played with, and lost over the years and whatnot. Did Elaine just call you up and say, hey, do you want to do this event?
Yes, it was very, very random. And,
Did you think about it, or did you immediately say yes?
No, I immediately said yes because I remember I told you about Miss V. She had mentioned to me prior to, Miss V is the psychic medium, my friend that I speak with.
Yeah, okay, so you have a psychic medium that you speak to, and tell him Miss V said what to you? What did she say to you?
I went to go speak with her, and she had mentioned, because my daddy always makes himself known whenever I go speak with her.
Mm-hmm. And in what ways? Like you see signs, you hear things, you smell him, what? You feel him?
You can feel their energy. Energy is
so more like empathic stuff.
Yes. And energy, in whatever way you want to understand it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, however
It's
the
more
human can
so-
process
yes,
losing
energy.
someone. Yes.
And that's in science, everything,
I call
energy.
it the spirit.
Yes, and
Yeah.
spirit energy, it's one thing that cannot be created or destroyed, and that's energy, and that is what the spirit is made up
Right.
of,
So
in the
yeah.
body, all that
So
good
he
stuff.
because my Bev
Yes.
shows herself to me very
Through
often.
music a lot. My
Yeah.
daddy communicates to me through music a lot.
Same.
And signs. My birthday's 313. I always see 313 everywhere. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
even asked Miss V at one point what it meant, and she let me know.
Yeah,
It's just
that's
in letting
cool.
it know.
I had a psychic for many years that I lost that told me everything in my life that actually came true.
See?
And she's been passed. Her name is Jennifer Day. She died on 4/20 about 4 years ago.
Wow.
And she told me all this stuff about Bev that came true. She said there would be a power transfer between me and her, which I think meant she crossed over because all of a sudden I was left with rights and stuff to bet, like that we shared music and stuff, and trying to figure out how to finish her work and how to, create an event in her honor, which is now happening and you're a part of it. So it's all connected, right? It's all connected
I'm
spiritually.
telling you, it's amazing.
Yeah.
That's what it's made of. That's what
It
we're here
is. It
for, you know
really
what I mean?
is.
And Miss V, she had just let me know. Well, before I had departed with her, me and my best friend Tamani, we went to go talk to her, and my daddy said, that he was going to be at a festival that was coming. And I had asked Miss Elaine, I even asked Miss Elaine, I was like, is there a festival that's coming up? Or is because I remember the Horus Festival or any type, there's 313 right there.
You
Right
just
there.
saw 313
Right
where?
there, you see
In
it
the
right
studio?
there.
Wait,
Right
where
there.
is it?
On that tag, you see the Kentucky Derby tag.
It
You see Miss
is.
Elaine right there.
That's
13,
wild, isn't it? Yeah,
My
well,
dad
it's
always
meant to
shows
be,
me.
girlfriend.
It
I know.
is.
I
It's
love it when
amazing.
stuff like that's happened.
It's
That's
just
spirit, and I get
amazing.
cold chills a
I
lot.
know.
The other
It's
day,
so
this happened the other day too, and Bev always appears to me as like a cardinal bird because she loved her birds, so she's always a bird to me or something like that.
My daddy does that too.
Animals and also just little signs along the way. But the other day, I was like, man, I really wish I had like a gray wristband to match whatever I was doing. And I walk upstairs into my garage, and there in the middle of the floor, girl, and it was clean before I left. I know for a fact was a gray wristband, and I picked it up, and it said Bev beats cancer. It was one of her, and I was like, thanks, Bev. Thank
They
you.
never go
Boom.
anywhere. My
Yeah.
daddy does that so much.
And today when we did Great Day Live, I had her bandana there with me. I always try to keep it around my drum set and whatnot. So yeah. So anyway, I
They never go
totally get
anywhere.
it.
They never go
No, they just.
anywhere.
I think she's on the other side, like poking me, going, "Ha ha! Watch this. What's this?"
If anything, they're closer there now than they could be any
Yeah.
way in this body. 'Cause, we're so trapped.
Yeah.
Like I'm here and I could be at home, but
Yeah.
they're everywhere. You know what I mean? They
Yeah,
can be wherever
exactly.
They want to be.
They're just in a different realm, man.
It's amazing.
Trying to guide us.
It's
Yeah.
amazing. It's so amazing. I just love spirituality.
Me too. Well, I'm
But-
honored to get to play She Castle with you in
I
honor
am
of your
honored.
dad,
I'm
because
honored. I'm
the
honored.
songs you picked were songs that you all used to sing together,
Yes,
right?
Yes, ever since I was a child.
Yeah. And what are the 3 songs you picked? I'm trying to remember.
It's
Drift Away.
Everything I Need by Kev Mo.
Which I
and
love.
I love that song too.
Me too.
I love Kev Mo. And
I've seen him.
Landslide by Fleetwood Mac.
Fleetwood Mac,
Yes.
Landslide, yes.
I love those songs.
Me
I love
too.
them.
They're
I love
great
them.
songs,
They're
yeah.
great.
And you do them very well.
Yes.
And you kick off the whole shebang.
I know.
Yeah.
And I go out at 3. Did you see that?
Yes,
I
I've
was
got the
like,
lineup
wow.
right here. Look at this. I got the
Yes, I
lineup.
was like, there's so many
At 3 o'clock,
numbers.
Georgia Phillips is going to
Yes.
kick it off with Magic.
You know, but my daddy had to let me know that he was going to be here at the
Yeah.
festival. And then Miss Lane popped up and asked me.
rehearsal. Remember when she was standing
Okay, so
there?
yeah, so this is what I was referring to. The psychic said
Yes.
that your dad was going to be at the event.
Yes,
His
my
spirit.
My daddy told me that he would be at the festival.
Okay.
He told me that he would be at the festival. He said.
Did he come to you like in a dream or?
No, whenever I was there talking to Miss V, it's almost
Okay.
as if
Understood.
almost as if because she can see,
Yeah.
in that point
Psychics
of that.
are interesting,
amazing,
aren't they? Yeah.
amazing.
The ones that are real are like mind blowing. Yeah, crazy.
Amazing,
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah,
And
yeah.
she doesn't have to try or anything. She does it willingly. She just wants to help, and she's
Yeah.
free. She doesn't charge
Yeah.
or anything.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome. Well, you
Yes.
gotta love that. If she's doing it,
Yes.
then that means she's doing it because she loves it.
she does.
You know,
she
yeah.
does. And then here she came and.
And then here comes Elaine. And how did you meet Elaine? But through
my
your dad?
daddy, yeah. She's one of my daddy's good friends. Her and her husband, Mr. David. I love Mr. David.
Yeah.
They're they would go out. I know my daddy would always they would always practice at her house every
Yeah.
Thursday. Him and the band, and they would always go go out to eat every weekend.
Yeah.
He always went over there for dinner.
Elaine
They
is known to have the best jams in town with
Yes.
the best musicians surrounding her all the time. In fact, that's how I met everybody I've met. Pretty
and they
much
always
was
used
jamming,
to go
you know.
out to Bardstown and get some type of sausage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of, like Bardstown, Kentucky?
Yeah.
You went all the way down there to get sausage?
Butcher shop down
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to get my sausage at Raywick, and you'll get a big old long thing. I mean, it's like 2 foot longs, and for like $5, you know, and it's real good.
That's what
No
he-
fat comes off that stuff when you fry it up.
He knew about all the good foods, all the good places, everything. He was the resource.
Yeah. Well, wow. He sounds like a very
amazing.
magical person.
He was.
And he had been singing around town for a long time, right? In
Yes.
Louisville,
He
Kentucky.
had been singing his whole life, really. All he did was sing. And even it was funny how his band started. It was so funny because he had a band in the 80s, and it was him and one of the other players. I can't remember who it is. They were originally in a band together in the 80s, and they
Yeah.
had met back up like in like 2011 or something like
Yeah.
that.
Might have been 10.
2010, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was before I
And
started
they
high
were
school.
blues
Mhm.
primarily, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Big
they
blues
created
cats
the
around town.
Tornations. Came
Yeah.
back and created the Tornations again. It was just so funny how people link back up through time. This is in the 80s whenever they were in a band.
Right.
And then here they are again.
In the
creating a band
2000s or
again.
late 2000s. That's wild, man. I love it when that stuff happens. Yeah,
they
they
had
just
had
cycle
a
back
demo.
around.
Yeah, they didn't get to finish their CD, but the demo's great. He had
Yeah.
passed before that time, but
Man, how
They're
is
really
it?
good.
It's got to be hard, I would think, as a singer singing songs because you're trying to emote like the emotional message of the song when you're a
Yes.
singer. So I would have to think that that's got to be incredibly hard that you're up there without your dad
Yeah.
singing songs that you used to sing with him,
It
picking
is.
songs that you know, just it's got to be kind of like it gives me a little cold bumps.
You know,
it does. You know what
it
I'm saying?
does, and it's
And
funny
you're
you
singing
asked
in
me
this
that.
gold microphone that you just brought in the house.
And I'm just so grateful for the opportunity and
Yeah.
for it to be possible over anything. I've overcame greater obstacles. I sung at my daddy's funeral. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I planned his
How
funeral.
was that? I mean,
wrote the
how
obituary.
did you get through without crying?
At the funeral, yes.
Okay.
Whenever I sung it again at the tribute, no.
Did you
But
just block out the emotion
it
or
was
like how
almost as if it was that time period was just so crazy, and my daddy, and I'm just thankful for the universe and the creator to give me the strength to get through all of that I was going through at that time, because I still don't know how I got through it. I mean, my daddy passed in 4 weeks after they diagnosed him with cancer. It was a very
Yeah.
quick time, and then I had to take him off life support the night that he passed. He basically passed in my arms at home. And
I'm so sorry.
We took him off life support, and then that day when he passed, I was he passed on that Sunday at 3:42 in the morning, and then I was meeting with the funeral home at 4:30 that evening. So it was kind of quick, you know what I mean? I didn't really waste any time. And then his funeral was that Wednesday, and then we buried him that Thursday, and then I was back to work that Monday. So
Yeah. Wow.
I was 19, and
So you
it
didn't
was
even
like,
really get to heal.
I didn't get to process,
Yeah.
heal anything. The
Have
night
you-
that he passed,
I'm sure you never really heal from something like that, but
You don't.
do you feel like you're healed a little bit more now?
I can say after 3 years, I can see the sunshine again. The sun shines, the grass is green. You know what I
Good,
mean? I
good.
notice, and without my daddy being here is
Yeah.
what is such an amazing thing to me, because everybody that knows me knows that my daddy was my rock. My daddy raised
Yeah.
me. I was with him every day, woke up to my dad. He was my alarm clock. I lived with my daddy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when he passed, he kind of got everything together. Miss Elaine, she was amazing through that whole process. She helped us get the quit claim deed together. My daddy actually waited, I feel like, to pass until the quit claim deed got signed, because
Yeah.
he
Oh,
signed
I
it.
heard that story, yeah.
He signed that deed and
He signed the deed and
went
then
down on the
passed.
couch, and that was it.
Wow. That's
He was
crazy.
asleep, and then he slept that whole Friday. Then that Saturday around at 8 o'clock is whenever he started. What happened is the toxins in his liver had sent out. The cancer had attacked his liver.
Yeah.
So the toxins had sent out, got to his brain, and he was really loopy. And
Yeah.
that's what happened then. Then when he got to the hospital, they were basically trying to save him. You know what I mean?
And we're talking about Phil Phillips, who
Yes,
is a
Philip
Louisville
Phillips, yeah.
musician, singer around this area for many, many, many years, especially in the blues scene. Did he ever branch out and do any other styles other than blues?
Yeah,
A little R&B,
little
yeah,
R&B.
and maybe some soul stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
mainly blues.
Yeah.
He liked rock, but he was religious, and he loved God. I know that.
Yeah.
And he just loved music, and he was just a great person.
Well, everything I've heard about your dad from the local scene has been amazing, and they've all said
Yes.
great things. And you are still very young, and you
I
have a
am. I'm
big,
only
long
22.
life ahead of you.
Yes, I do.
Do you ever think about getting back into music?
It's
Or is
funny
it
because
special to you? I mean,
It's
in your
what
blood.
We were talking about, you know, how things come and how people come in paths.
Yeah.
And I could see myself. I don't doubt anything that comes in my path. I take on everything as a blessing and as something to learn from and something to grow from and an experience for one.
Right.
So if it did come in my path, you see, it's all just everything's just coming together. So I'm just going with the flow, and if it comes, it comes.
That's kind of how I roll too. I let the universe just guide my way. I pray every day, and I go, you know what? Just provide for me what I need at the moment, and it always does.
It does.
It always does. And then
Always
I look back
does.
and go, why did I worry about that?
That's why I said
You know?
I've done over. And now at this point, I'm grateful. I'm happy. I know he's going to be there jamming with me.
Oh, he's going to be
We're
there.
Be singing.
You're
I'm gonna
singing
be
through his
singing
gold
to him.
microphone. She's got a gold microphone up in here
forgot
somewhere.
all about that until now. And I'm like, this is just amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. It's in a Crown Royal bag.
It's-
Those bags are great for everything, aren't they?
Aren't they? You could just put anything in
Well,
them.
back in my day when I was drinking very heavily, I used to collect those things, and you can just put anything in them.
Yes, they're great. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
exactly.
I'm looking forward to it.
Good. Well, I'm looking forward to jamming with you.
forward to it. Yes, me
and
too.
and we're excited to have you in the LRS studio today.
I know,
It's
I'm
pretty
glad to
rad.
be here. It's
And
so-
you're with Elaine, and
Yeah.
you just saw your magic number.
I know, I'm just
and
so
there's
happy.
a gold, yeah,
I'm so
good.
happy.
We like
I
making
am.
people happy here. That's what we do,
I
man.
like to be happy.
Well, you're locked on to Jyneration Nation. And that is Georgia Phillips. We've got Elaine Hertweck in the studio with us, too. Yay! The She Castle crew is here. It's Pat Benatar on LRS102.com, the Walrus. That is Linda Ronstadt. When Will I Be Loved on LRS102.com, the Walrus. You got to love that song, don't you, Elaine? You got to love that. Georgia, Elaine, whoever wants to talk to me. We can all talk. Which I love, yeah. Linda Ronstadt had a birthday. I think they said 73. Don't quote me verbatim, but it was something like that a couple days ago. So you gotta love her,
happy
yeah.
birthday.
Yeah, she actually has. She's got a sad story kicking right now.
Yeah.
Which I don't want to bring listeners down. But basically, she, I think, has like Alzheimer's or something like that. And-
Alzheimer's or
Or Parkinson disease. I think it's Parkinson disease. Yeah, and she can't like really perform much anymore.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
so sad.
You know, I always loved her on the Dolly record. It's Dolly, Linda Ronstadt, and Emmylou Harris trio. The trio record.
Could you imagine
No, I can't.
sitting and listening to the three of them?
No, but I want to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's on the top of my bucket list goals, in life. So I'm working on it. I've been 1 degree of Dolly my whole life. Something's got to happen there.
Me too.
Really? You too? I love that. I always say I got into radio because of Dolly Parton because
Really?
when I was a kid, I used to call the local radio station and begged for them to play Dolly Parton and then skip to when I was in high school. I was working. I mean, I wasn't working. I was at high school, and this lady came in, and I started talking to her. And then she said, "Do you have a job yet?" And I said, "No." And she goes, "You've got a great voice, and I'm the owner of the radio station." And I was like, "Well, I used to call in and play Dolly, and they remembered me." And then she goes, "Come see me. I'm going to give you a job."
See how
And she
things work
did.
out?
I didn't even put in an application. She gave me a job 7 to midnight on a classic old country radio station.
See how
And that's
things
how
work
I got my
out.
start. So I'm always like, thanks to Dolly,
Right,
really.
thanks, Dolly.
Technically, yes.
I just think she's such a nice person.
She is.
She's so
We were
sweet.
talking about her the other day. It doesn't matter what political side of the
Yeah.
spectrum you're on. You still love her. And Willie Nelson fits in that category, too. You just
Well,
can't
that's
help
the way
but
it ought
love
to be.
them.
It
Right.
doesn't- it shouldn't matter what your religion or what your political
Or sexual
or your
orientation
sexual preference is.
or
If you can't just
correct.
love each other,
Right.
then you're no better than
Or
punks
your
come
beliefs.
under my feet.
Right, yeah, and that's what I love about America, people. I love America because we are a melting pot of everything.
I do
Yes.
too.
And I have met some of the most interesting people across this journey, you know what I mean? From here to Canada and all around, and just, it's proven to me there are some really cool people out there. You
There are.
can't judge them for what they believe, you know what I mean?
And you shouldn't anyway.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's the whole point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My
So
daddy taught
anyway,
me that too.
yeah, I love that. So
judge.
yeah, exactly. We're big fans here of that. And
Yes.
but there are some really cool people in all walks of life, of course. Of course, you're listening to LRS102.com, the Walrus. I do want to remind everybody that Saturday we're gonna have a big ice cream social down at Erlinger's.
Earlers.
Erler's, that's
Earler's
right.
ice cream. So you're
Erler's
probably too
ice
young to
cream.
remember Earler's
I
ice
am,
cream.
and I'm not from Louisville, so you got to remember that.
and
Yeah.
Earler's was like the only ice cream around here. You didn't have your Mountain Creamery or any
And it's downtown.
Baskin Robbins. And Earler's used to
ice
be
cream.
everywhere around town, but now they have one, and they shut down for a long, long time. I
Yeah.
think they closed their factory, but they have one. They opened one down on Main Street,
Super rad, man. Downtown
And that's where you're all doing that from
Louisville.
4 to 6 on Saturday.
Yeah, that's super cool. Well, we're gonna do 4 to 6 on Saturday. Our Nubbin St. Nubbins DJ is gonna be out there broadcasting live, and you can sign up to win Louder Than Life tickets if you go too.
Now, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and I don't know if you've seen that lineup, but it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Louder Than Life and Bourbon and Beyond. We're covering both of those
I
events.
told you were going to take me as your date.
I might take you as my date. I love that. That's funny. You threw me for a loop on that one. I don't think anybody's done
David
that
said
one
he
yet.
wouldn't mind.
Chip bound, chicka meow.
Yeah, that's
Anyway,
what she said.
I know that's what she said. It's just that's what she said. Just as
You
the
know, that's been
funniest
all over
band name
town.
ever. Oh yeah.
This
Now I kind of love it because now when people say that's what she said, if they know about that, they're going to think about the band.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I think it's funny. And we had Jessica Bullock, the pianist, on Friday here, and she said, as a fan of dirty jokes, I love that's what she said. And I said, you literally can say that after anything. It doesn't even matter what it is. Look at the last text you just sent, and then put a that's what she said after it and tell me it ain't funny. It don't even matter what it is.
And
it's
speaking of
still
dirty
funny.
jokes.
Yeah, tell one.
You have I can't. I don't have too much cash with me.
I need a horn. Wait, I usually have my little
cash
dingy
jar
bill
over
here.
there, right?
Yes, I do. And can I tell you about this cash jar?
Yeah, do tell me about it.
Okay, we have a cash jar. It's the swear jar, the LRS102.com Walrus swear jar. We cuss for a cause here.
Cuss for a cause.
Yes,
There
because
you
since
go.
we're streaming, we bypass FCC regulations, so I can say words that normally you would not be allowed on radio or TV. But we can say it because we're on the internet, and you can choose not to listen if you don't want to. But the swear jar, anytime somebody cusses on air, they drop money in the swear jar, and then at the end of the month, we donate it to charity.
So how do
we
you
cuss for
choose
a
what
cause.
charity?
Well, Skinny J is in charge of that area, and he picks the charity of the month. I forget who it was this month, but they were, when he had quite a bit of money in this
No
thing.
doubt.
Yeah, and I mean, there's some 10s and 20s in the bottom of that.
I know because I know Sean Wallace was on the other day.
Sean Wallace was on, and
Yeah,
he
and I
dropped
know
a few,
Sean
yeah.
very well, so I know he had to drop some money in there.
He dropped some money in there. He did. David Williams dropped some
Yeah.
dough up in there. I even made Marvin say his famous tagline, which if you know Marvin, you know.
Shit the bed.
Yep, and he dropped some money up in there. I'm trying to think. Every now and then I'll drop one, but I know my mama's listening, so I try to be good.
Well, you'll notice I haven't cursed yet today.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
Even
hey,
though I
as
think I
you
did
can
say a couple.
you can curse all you want as long as it ain't at me.
I'm trying to behave.
That's my only request. Yeah, but the swear jar is cool. Isn't it
It
a
is.
great idea?
It
And
is.
we even have a little bumper that's like, we're cussing for a cause. So if we cuss, we're donating it. Don't get mad at us.
You know, we
basically.
did something similar to that at a place I used to work. We had somebody that was always late for work.
Yeah.
And so, punching the clock didn't work and, getting mad didn't work. So we put in a jar. And if you were 5 minutes late, you had to put in $1. But for every minute after 5, you had to put in another $1. So at the end of the month, if you were not late, you got what was in the jar. And let me tell you,
Interesting.
some months it had $400 or $500 in there.
I bet.
Yeah. But it only lasted a couple months because they went bankrupt. The person that we were,
They went bankrupt.
they might as well have. Yeah, they couldn't
Womp,
afford it anymore. They started coming to work
yeah.
on time.
Yeah, I hear
so.
you. I can't wait till I get my own sound effects board. I really want a sound effects board with like
Oh, yeah, you
claps.
gotta do the clap and the drum roll.
And usually I have a little bell. I can't find it, but there's a little bell that you can ding to when they
Hey,
say
you know
a
what else
cuss
you got to
word.
do?
What's that?
You got to get all of the band, and all of us are going to say, "That's what she said."
That's what she said. I would love that. We can do voiceovers at any time for the show, which is really cool. And I don't know if you noticed over here, I brought in the Women Drummers book.
I did. I saw that when I walked in.
You can see it live from Broadway, downtown Louisville,
Cool.
if you drive by or walk by. Because we broadcast right from a window. That's really cool. We were laughing because almost daily, we haven't had anybody yet today, knock on wood. But usually somebody walks down through here and they stop and they realize it's a radio station and that we're broadcasting live. And we just got our own on-air sign out front.
Yeah.
It's our first one. He literally installed it while we were talking. So we actually have one now.
You know, when I was a kid, we'd walk up and down 4th Street, and Wacky, had a storefront.
Exactly, yeah.
And the DJ was there, and we used to go out to the window and sit and wave.
Yeah.
and
Elaine,
talk
I
and
wanted
everything.
to ask you, how far do you and LRS go back? Because
Oh,
you've
gosh.
been here for years. I mean, did you
Ever
ever?
since
You
I can
probably
re-
listened to LRS quite a bit
I
back in
can't
the day. I would
remember.
think.
a time that I didn't really. I mean, it was a rock station. I love rock.
I know,
you
right?
know.
Rock and classic
Yeah.
rock, man. That's where it's
Yeah.
at. The coolest thing about LRS today is we literally can spin any thread of rock and roll, which is from the earliest stuff in the 60s until current, the stuff going on now. And rock and roll have branched off and did many different, there's progressive and there's classic and there's 80s and 90s and there's metal and heavier stuff and there's punk rock, and there's just all kinds of, I like the new wave era of rock and roll.
Every genre has several genres.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I love me some 80s rock, some 70s. I mean, I like it all, really.
Oh, yeah.
But the coolest thing about having this show is I can spin anything I want. And if I want to thread some blues in there every now and then, if I want to do some dance tracks, and we want to throw on a hillbilly swagger track, or anybody who comes in that sits down to talk, we can do that. We can help. Because back in the day, we used to break the artist, and we're trying to bring that back.
Yeah.
No matter what the
Well,
style.
let me tell you, Friday night,
Yeah.
Cashbox Kings are coming in from Chicago.
Cool.
And,
Tell me about them.
Oh my gosh, they're blues, and they're just awesome. They're out of Chicago. Dan Aykroyd loves them.
Cool.
He's
I
one of their
love
biggest
Dan
fans.
Aykroyd. He was in
And-
Ghostbusters.
Yeah, he was.
the original.
Long time ago.
Yeah.
Anyway, they travel all over the world, and they're coming back off a tour in Poland.
Cool.
They have a new CD they're putting out. Hail to the Chief, I think is the name of it.
Yeah.
So they're going to be at Stevie Ray's on Friday night, and
That's
one
super
show,
cool.
and that's it.
Yeah,
So,
one show and that's it. And what
Yeah.
time do they go on? Do you know?
probably 8.
8 o'clock.
Yeah, I know the doors
yeah.
open at 5. I'm not sure what time.
Stevie's
music
is the
starts.
hangout, man. We've had some of the best stories about Stevie Ray's from some of the musicians that have come in here to have interviews. My favorite, and I keep bringing it back up because he said it on record, so it doesn't matter. But Jeff McAllister was down there in the Voodoo Garden one day.
Uh-huh.
He
Oh,
was
I
telling
heard
me,
that.
yeah, Lee Von Helm showed up.
Yeah.
The lead singer and the drummer of the band.
Yeah.
The weight, take a load off Fanny, that
Right.
guy. And handed him a J. And he said, I didn't smoke, but he said, I took it and pretended like I did. And he said, by song number 2, he was like, everything was swirling. He said, what do you do when LaVon Helm hands you that? He's like, you just
You
take
smoke it. Heck yeah.
I was like, hell yeah, man. Oh, money in the change jar. Is hell even a cuss word these days?
No, I don't
know.
think it is. I think it's where you go because you're bad.
Yeah. But
Right.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, man, we've had the best interviews. So we want to remind everybody that She Castle will obviously going on, right?
Oh, that is
I mean-
going to be so much fun.
I know.
It really is.
Hadn't it been so therapeutic for you,
It
Georgia?
has. I'm
Yeah.
just so happy. Can you just feel
Yeah. You can feel the
Feel it
love
off
and the
of me.
power and the magic
Yes.
coming, and everybody involved has
I'm excited. I'm really excited.
a little bit of magic surrounding them. You know what I mean? And the band's got some magic surrounding them. And it just feels like, I don't know, when we practice in that room, and I say this to Elaine all the time, you can just feel the spirit's presence in that room.
Yes.
You
Yes.
really
I've had a
can.
lot of bands tell me that. I have a lot of bands come in and reherse, and that's what we do is let bands come in and
Right.
rehearse for shows.
Yeah.
or try
Bands
to
go in,
promote
they
it.
rehearse at Elaine's. She's, been, people even coming in from out of town. I've had out of towners over there just, for rehearsal space. Lots of my projects have been in and out there. Yeah. And it's just a great room. You've got a rock wall, which I love.
Yes, I love it. It's very
Yeah, it's got a
peaceful.
great sound. It is a magical room.
It is a magic room, and it's been an honor to form a magical little band here. That's what she said. All my She Castle bandmates, my queens as I call them. It's been magical to really just work with them in that room and bond with them because again, the band had not really played together. I had played with Selena. None of the rest of us had played together before,
Oh wow!
and Selena hadn't played with the other
And so
two.
they had to
I
learn
couldn't
all
tell.
these songs.
So we had to learn all the
You wouldn't
songs
know.
together.
You wouldn't know.
Of all the different, and kudos to the band. We're on stage
Yes.
all night with
Big
every
claps
artist.
on that
Yep,
one.
that's the one class.
Yay!
Give it up for the band, the band, the band. That's what she said.
Y'all are amazing,
Yeah,
too.
but I mean, the lineup is just so cool. And one thing I love about it is all different styles of music across the board.
That's what I like too. That's
Yeah.
what my friend said too. She was like, it's all different type of music.
Yeah, I actually got
gonna be
excited
nice.
just to see what the other girls picked. Like when we get the new songs, the 3 or 4 songs, every time a new singer would join on board and
And
say
not
these are our
one
songs.
song is being repeated.
Yeah, and not one song
See?
being repeated, right?
Uh-huh. That's gonna be
I mean,
cool.
we got that down to a science.
Yep.
Pretty much, Elaine got it taken care of. Yeah, and it's gonna be awesome. $10 at the door, suggested donation. It all goes to charity.
Yes.
We're gonna give it to Successful Living, which is basically like a transitional women's housing place that also, can take in your kids and help you get sober and transition you back into society and all this cool stuff.
Great cause.
Also, Girls Rock Louisville, who give low-income families lessons. They're a 501c3.
Helps them network.
Yeah, helps them network, teaches them life
compete
skills
in
through
world.
music, man. I mean, really, again, it's all about the music.
It's
But
going to
it
good
comes
stuff,
back to
yeah.
that. And you get to tribute your daddy. I get to
know.
tribute my Beverly McClellan. It's just
Yes.
going to be a special night. And we end it with, have you ever heard of the Troubadours of Divine Bliss?
No.
Well, then you have to stick around because
I am. I'm staying through the whole thing.
And I mean, everybody's good. Everybody's good.
I'm
And
saying
all
the whole
different
thing.
styles. We've got Griffeytown coming on at 7:20. That's Katie Renee and Rebecca Osborne, who I love. They're a duo. They're beautiful. They're very folky and groovy. And then they are followed by two of my favorites, Troubadours of Divine Bliss. Now, girl, if you've ever met Magic, it's going to be those two women right
can't
there.
wait.
They are the most philanthropic people I've ever met. They are the true definition of love. Their story is amazing. They've traveled all over the world doing music.
I saw their
That's
picture.
what they
and
do. They
that
live on
heart
the
caught my-
land.
it caught my
Yeah,
eye.
they have a
that
place
heart.
called the Way of the Heart Woods. And basically, it is kind of like a creative outlet place for people to go that are musicians to sit and write and stay the night and kind of heal through nature. And they always got some, all kinds of just magic surrounding them. I mean, they've got healers and, very creative people and just, I mean, every walks of life that are amazing. They
can't
really
wait.
bring people together, and they put on Harvest Hootenannies and that Mighty Kindness Earth Day festivals all
Okay.
around town. They do a lot for
love
Mother
nature.
Nature. They stand up for women's rights, you know what I mean? And they are just awesome people. Awesome people. So they're going to go on at 8 o'clock. They're an accordion and an acoustic guitar duo. So some of
That
the band
sounds
might pop in with them
cool.
and out. Yes, and they are great. So you definitely want to check them out. They are pure magic.
Definitely
Trust me
am
on
excited
that.
For them, yeah, I am.
Yeah.
I'm excited for everyone. Even though I'm in the beginning, I made sure I
Yeah.
was gonna stay through everybody because I want to support everybody. So,
Well,
and I
yeah.
want to see what everybody's all their performances. I didn't get to see it.
Oh man, and you've
at
got.
the
I
big
mean,
thing, so
look.
I
coming
definitely
up
want to.
after you, man. I mean, just the list.
I know.
It just gets
Miss
crazier
Carla's
and
right
crazier
behind
every
me. I
time.
know.
Yeah,
I'm
Miss Carla.
excited.
Marjorie Marshall comes on right behind you. We did Great Day Live earlier with her.
Yes,
did
I
some
seen
Al
her.
Green, take
She
me
gave
to
me
the
chills.
river.
I was like,
Yeah.
okay.
Did you see her pull her jacket off and
Yes,
threw
I
that
know,
down? I was like,
sorry.
get that queen. Get that
Right,
queen.
I loved it.
Yes.
I loved it.
Marjorie
You know,
is a
she does
trip.
A great thing. You need to have her on the show.
She's on the show. Guess what? Tomorrow.
Oh, good.
She is.
She is interesting. She
Yeah.
works with. She did some stuff with Marianne Fisher, who was
Yeah.
a good, great friend of hers, and
Yeah.
so she has. She has wanted to continue her legacy,
Right.
by continue. I mean, that's pretty much her musical partner was
It is.
Marianne Fisher.
Right. Again, another
Yeah.
person. You
and,
know what
and,
I'm saying?
And I
It's-
can relate to that. Lisa,
Of course,
you know,
right.
my best friend of 30 years
Yes.
passed in 2008.
So
and,
your best friend's
you know,
musicians
she
too.
was
yeah.
like the best. I always,
Yeah.
any keyboard player,
Yeah.
with the exception of Bob Ramsey,
But don't.
yeah,
Yeah.
I compared to her.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, she played bass and keys.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't have bass player in Magic Jack. It was
Right.
It was
The
just
keys held
her.
down the bass, yeah.
And you know, nobody did that then.
Yeah.
And she was just so very talented.
Yeah.
Couldn't read a lick of music.
Well,
But,
that's like my Bev. She
yeah.
couldn't read a lick of music
exactly.
either, but just genius,
But man, the natural talent.
Yep.
You know, is just it was so
Pure and
much
raw,
fun
sister, pure and raw.
because anybody would come up and say, "Hey, do you know such and such a song?"
Right.
And she would sit there and you could almost see. Remember the old Rolodexes?
Yeah.
I would always see a Rolodex going around.
It's
in her,
the
in her
squirrel like
brain.
doing the hamster, and then the light
Yeah.
bulb pops up.
And then they get to
ding.
the right,
Yeah.
you know, oh, yep, that's the one. Okay, yeah, sure. And man, she'd go at it. And
Right.
so that's who I always compared keyboard players to.
Right.
Was her.
Yeah.
And very, very few people
Yeah.
ever added up to her.
Yeah, so we'll do a little tribute for her too.
Yeah.
You know, because basically everybody involved, it seems like, has lost someone that's super close to them that was a musical soulmate or a musical
Yeah.
soul partner somehow in women's music, right? Because it's all concerning the ladies, even though it's your daddy too, but it's still concerning you. So it's like it brings it back to women's music. But yeah, it just seems like it's going to be magical. And I feel like with the timing of the universe, with the lunar eclipse, we're still coming out of that. We're going to be coming out of that full moon.
Yes.
We're going to be coming out of that Mercury retrograde kind of time period, and it just feels like it's a magical.
It's the right time.
I read that like some planets on the south node of fate or something like that. You know what I mean? The node of fate seems pretty heavy.
I can just how you just feel stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
you feel it.
it's exciting,
You're
though.
empathic,
It's
girlfriend.
exciting.
Yeah,
It's exciting.
it's very exciting. I
very
can feel the
excited.
energy too. I like to generate energy. They call me the generator for a reason.
Oh yeah, see,
I've
yeah.
always generated energy, and I'm trying to generate groovy positivity, positive energy these days. And it's cool to have you on our list.
And I'm excited. It's like I can actually feel again after everything, and I'm like,
Yeah.
it's
Good.
amazing.
You're not as numb as you used to be.
I'm not as numb. I can feel again.
Yeah.
And
That's
what it
good.
is.
That's good, right?
You always take the words
Cool.
right out of my mouth. I'm right out of my head. I'm like, yes.
I
that's
try.
right.
I try to complete thoughts here.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Yes.
I always. I just try to do my best. That's all I can do.
And
yeah.
you're doing great.
Thanks. Well, you know what? I had a
Amazing.
crazy year last year. I ain't gonna lie. When
We all
we're on
do.
social media, a lot of people follow me on social media, and they're always like, "Oh, you're just having the best year last year." And I was like, "Not really." Behind the scenes, it was not very a good, stuff going on. So I had a lot of losses last year, a lot of purging in my life, a lot of growing, turning 40. I feel like I might have had a slight, meltdown there for a little bit. Lost my best friend. You know what I mean? Lost a band, lost friends, lost everything. Had to really start from scratch.
Yes, and that's what we need sometimes.
Then boom, I just finally got through it, and then I'm like, gosh, look at this! I've got a cool chick band. All these really cool things. A new radio gig. My lessons are off the charts. I got a new digs around the Highlands. You know what I mean? It's just like all these really cool things happening.
A door will never get closed for a better one to not be opened. You have to
I love
remember that too. You have to remember that. And that's
We were
what-
talking about that at the
that
beginning
will
of the show.
If you keep that in your head, you'll
Say it
go
again.
through
Say it
fine.
again.
A door will never be closed for a better one to not be opened.
That's right.
Yes.
And my goal, my motto is don't settle. Dust
Yes.
settles, I do
It's
not,
always
and don't
better.
settle it unless it's magic.
Yes.
It better
Mhm.
be magic, girl.
Yes.
Yeah, if it
Oh,
ain't
I
magic-
love that one.
Really
Hey, I
damn
love
good.
that one.
Huh?
Or it feels really good.
Or it feels really damn good. You
Don't
gotta
stop
put.
then.
Wait, you said it. You said it twice, so you have to put money in the tip jar. If damn's a cuss word these days, I don't know. I'll put a couple bucks in there.
You
We're
said you
cussing
got
for
me.
we're donating it to charity, y'all. So we're doing a good
Yeah.
deed. Exactly. Say it a couple times, right? Yeah. So anyway, we want to remind everybody we are live in the studio with Georgia Phillips, who's
Yes.
going to kick off
Hello.
She Castle. I'm in the house band backing them. That's going to happen Sunday, July 21st at Air Devils Inn on Taylorsville Road, right there across from Bowman Field. We do want to remind everybody, Elaine was saying this earlier, we want to remind everybody you can actually park across the street at
Important.
Bowman Field. They're not going to tow you that day.
Okay.
The aviation
that.
director, she's talked to them, and they're totally cool. They love the idea. They're just asking. She's passing off money. Here, give it to me. I'm going to put it in the tip jar. Oh, you spending some big dollars. She bougie.
Right.
Bougie. Yeah. Down to down to down to down to. I put the money in the zip jar, baby.
Hey,
Yay.
hey.
Yeah. Anyway, I need to get my tambourines and stuff in here. I feel like I could be
Yes, we need
singing
something.
around with people
Or a bell.
making up some stuff. Yeah,
Ring that
something.
bell.
Some spoons, maybe a washboard, throw it up in here.
Something.
Anyway, you can park at Bowman Field. All you have to do is go. They're asking you to be safe. Go to the crosswalk. Don't get hit. But you can park over there if there's no parking, because we do know parking is an issue there because it's a smaller venue. We do expect to have a big crowd. I think it's going to be off the charts. It's going to be like a big old reunion of everybody
It
who's cool
is.
and groovy, and magic is definitely going to be in the air. The groove is going to be flowing, as
I'm
we
excited.
say.
It is. The energy is going to be great, amazing, nice.
And
Everybody's
everybody
gonna love
involved has just been top notch.
it. You don't
want
want to miss it. I will say that. You don't want to miss.
No, you don't want to miss it.
don't
You don't want to miss it.
Yeah, everybody has been top notch.
Top notch.
Very professional and
Some of the most professional females I have ever worked with in
Yeah.
the city. I will say that.
Yeah.
And
that's sweet.
definitely, well, I mean, I'm serious.
Yeah.
I've worked with a lot of people, man, over the years. You know what I mean? And I've seen professional and I've seen not so professional. In this group, the lineup and the band, I mean, they just know their stuff and they're
Yeah.
pros, and
they've all worked very, very hard.
they've worked very hard, and everybody's put in their time, and it's time to shine now, girlfriend.
It is time to
It's called
shine.
She Castles for a reason. We're
I
all
know,
queens.
we
We're all
are.
queens.
Yes,
and
we
when we
are
stick
ready to
together,
shine.
it's the coolest thing in the world, man.
That's
It
what
is, and I'm really looking
yes.
forward to next
Or
year. We actually
or
are.
lady, I
Terry
should say.
Thomas, who's a friend of mine.
Yeah.
approached me the other day and said something about she does some jewelry with engraving on it. And so she's going to set up a table there and allow it to become a fundraiser so that we can put some money towards next year. Everybody this year is doing it pro bono.
And it's going to be annual.
Yeah.
This is going to be an annual. This is the first annual.
So, you know, if you are a woman, women-owned business or just a woman who wants to support women,
a powerful female man,
you have
a
$10.
shero, I call them.
Yeah, send it on. Be a part of our She Castle next year, because we're gonna try and do some fundraisers this year so we can really get some big things going on,
and a big old stage and a big old, you know, we want it somewhere
big
crazy.
Old, we want
we like big old everything. You know what Bev would say? She like that big ass diamond ring. I'll put more money in the tip jar. Yeah. Because, of course, we're going to also finish it up on this because we've been talking all things She Castle. Obviously, Elaine, a great friend of mine, my den mama, the co-creator of She Castle, basically, among a million other hats, and mother to, 4 kids and everything else that you got going on in your life. Plus David.
Well, that's a handful.
Right, that's the handful right there. Plus everything else you got going on in your life. You just make magic happen, too. You know what I mean? And it's been an honor to use your space and all that. We're going to pay tribute to your friend. We're going to pay tribute to your daddy, Georgia Phillips, and we're going to pay tribute to my Beverly McClellan. It's going to be a meet-up of the magical, awesome spirits. You know,
Absolutely.
The spirits are going to be sitting on the other side watching us doing this right here.
Oh, yeah.
You know what
and
I mean? Going, yeah, bravo, girls. That's what I want. Oh, and Doug will be with Kim, and of course, and everybody else who's, lost someone who's their musical soulmate.
Yeah.
This is really for them. I mean, it's for us emotionally.
It's for all the women.
Yeah. And it's for us because we love music and we want to share their spirit, their story, and we want to also raise money for a really good cause.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we hope you come. That is Elaine Hertweck and Georgia Phillips in the studio here. I appreciate you two coming in. I love both of you dearly.
Hey.
And as always, when you're not in here with me, tune in to LRS102.com, Jyneration Nation, because I would love to have y'all back on at some point. You know what I mean? And we'll talk.
Yeah.
Maybe after the event, we'll have you back on to do a recap. Yeah, because LRS is a sponsor now of She Castle, so they're helping. They're going to help promote and try to pump it up every time they're on a different. Everybody has their own shows here, but they're going to be talking about it all throughout and trying to cover it. And Lisa Mitchell, one of our DJs, is also the MC. So we got 2 LRS ladies involved in She Castle, which is awesome.
Well, thanks for having me, Jen. I really had a good time.
You're very
it's always
welcome.
Fun hanging out with you anyway.
Of course, we've had a whole day of fun, haven't we? From lunch to Great Day Live to this, it's just going to be rocking. We got all weekend coming. I'm so excited. It's going to be an honor. And Georgia Phillips, thank you for coming in. I really appreciate you being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm so glad I got to meet you. I really am.
Yeah, same.
I really am. I'm
same.
really glad I got to come
Well,
here
wait till we get to play together, and then we can say we played together. Yay!
And we're not going anywhere. We'll keep in touch. So
That's right. Of course. And we got social media, too.
Yes.
All right, y'all. You've been locked on to Jyneration Nation, LRS102.com, the Walrus, broadcasting live from the Launch Louisville studios. We are Louisville's Rock Stream. Tune in tomorrow. I've got Marjorie Marshall coming in, and I'm going to leave you some more Bob Seger in honor of Miss Elaine. It's the fire down below. You're locked on to Jyneration Nation, y'all. Keep it groovy. I'll see you tomorrow.